This training video will demonstrate the proper technique for decanting and filtering. Both methods involve separating the liquid phase from the solid phase of a chemical solution, but when you use them is different. If you're not interested in quantifying the solid phase of your solution and you just want to remove the liquid, then decanting would be appropriate. If, on the other hand, you do want to quantify the solid phase of your solution, then filtering would be appropriate. Make sure you follow all safety procedures, including wearing your lab coat, safety goggles, gloves, and working in the fume hood when appropriate. When you're decanting a liquid, you could simply pour it out of the container into your waste container, but you might not have the control over it and some of your solid may come out of the bottom. A better technique is to take your glass stir rod, place it over the beaker, and then pour that into your container. This way the liquid will come out in a more controlled fashion, and that you'll be able to see that all of your solid, or most of it at least, remains in the beaker. If you want to filter your chemical solution, you can do it through gravity filtration, or you can use a suction filtration system as seen here. The main parts are the filter flask with a side arm, a rubber gasket called a filter vac, which sits on the mouth of the flask, a Buchner funnel, which can have different size pore holes, that sits on top of the filter vac and forms a tight seal between the Buchner funnel and the flask underneath, and a filter paper which sits inside the Buchner funnel. This sidearm would be connected to a vacuum which would then draw the solution through the filter and into the flask when it gets poured in the top. When performing suction filtration, use a thick-walled hose to connect the sidearm of your flask to your vacuum. Ensure that the entire setup is securely connected to a stable base so it doesn't fall over. You start by pre-weighing your filter paper and placing it in the funnel. Turn on your vacuum and use your diluent, in this case distilled water, to pre-wet the filter paper. This will prevent any of your chemical solution from going around the filter paper and underneath it and not collecting the solid. When that's done, you're ready to filter. You can use the glass stir rod to pour in your solution if you want, but since we want to recover all of the solid, we can simply just pour it into the filter setup. While you're waiting for it to filter through, you can swirl your solution to get the solid into solution so it comes out. And when you're done, use your diluent or distilled water to rinse the container a few times to make sure you recover as much solid as possible. You may have to let it air dry for a few minutes. When you're done, turn off your vacuum. You can just wiggle and remove the Buchner funnel, and you can use a spatula to lift out the filter paper with the solid and weigh it to see how much solid you've recovered. You should have a clear understanding of the method for decanting and filtering a chemical solution, and when it's appropriate to use one or the other. When you get to the lab, if you have any questions, make sure you ask for help. And remember, every experiment is an opportunity to learn, develop skills no matter the outcome.